KBS Clear Coat, the clear finish everyone loves to hate, and it all deals with storage. Are you ready to run a gun? It's time for blast off. Let's go. Hey guys, Todd here with you. Welcome back to Bassin 101. Man, KBS Diamond Clear Coat. This is the absolute best clear coat that you can get your hands on. It's flexible, it dries rock hard, and it doesn't chip because it's flexible. Much better than epoxy. It costs a little to invest in, but it lasts you a pretty long time. So the storage factor has always been an issue with everybody. Even when I first bought it, I had storage issues, and I was kind of like, man, that stuff's crap, I'm not using it anymore. That's what happens. If you ever watch Jekyll on YouTube, Janet, she uses a cellophane across the top and screws it on there, and it does a pretty good job. But remember, she's using that stuff every day. So that's something you need to think about. Another guy on YouTube will take a Ziploc baggie and stick it down, or actually put it over, put his fingers in there to push what air he can out, get the wrinkles out of it, use a canning lid and seal it on there, and it keeps for a pretty long time. That works too. But the foolproof method of doing this is, well, first of all, you got to get the air out of there. You know, I'm not trying to shake this around because I don't want to create air bubbles. I also don't want to get a lot of stuff on the lid. But this lid is on here because I sucked all the air out of it, and it basically, hear that? It's pushed in. The air is sealed inside of it. I mean, it's been removed, but whatever's left in there is sealed inside of it. The way I do this, and this is the easiest way to work with this stuff, guys. This came in a 16-ounce can. I poured the can into a 16-ounce mason jar. I'm using a ball with a ball lid. If you do any canning, you know what I'm talking about. And I'm using what's called a portable sealing machine. Now what this does, you can make this, or you can run this on a small lid, or you can just take it apart and use it on a big lid. And basically, with this ring off of here, once you put your lid on here and you got it cleaned off, you take this part of it, you stick it over it, you push the button, it'll start running and counting off. See that? I run it for about 20, maybe 25 seconds tops, because you don't want this thing pulling this lid in here and literally just sucking the lid inside the jar itself. It will do that, so you got to be careful. The best way to clean the KBS in here before you do this is to use lacquer thinner. That's really the only thinner that's going to do it, besides the thinner that KBS sells. And I take on a paper towel, and I'll wipe off with lacquer thinner the rim of the jar when I'm done. And the lid, I'll wipe off the inside of the lid on the very outer parts. If you've ever done any canning, you know what I'm talking about. So you got to keep that clean before you start canning. I put the piece on there, suck the air out for about 20 seconds. When you cut the thing off, you'll hear this go ping. That's this button pushing in. And I just screw the lid on there just to protect it. And that, to me, guys, is the easiest way to store KBS. Of course, every time you open it, you want to make sure you take a big popsicle stick and very slowly stir the mixture. You know, get it up, move it around, get it up, move it around. Don't create any air bubbles. Get in there, move it around, stir it up, because this is, you know, a two-part type deal. So you got to make sure everything is mixed together so it dries properly. But that right there is absolutely the best way to store KBS, and it takes 20 seconds with one of these. And all you gotta do is this, and then just pull it off. How easy is that? So now you can invest in KBS, which, you know, a pint's about 40, 45 bucks. I know it sounds expensive, but by the time you buy several bottles of epoxy, which will do the same thing as what this is, you're actually spending less money on this than you are on epoxy. Let's think about that for a minute. But for you that have never, any of you guys have never seen KBS, I'll show you a bait that I've got here I did in KBS just to show you the clarity that this stuff has, because it doesn't yellow and it will not crack over time. Let me show you that bait. Okay, so here's the bait. This is a baby 110. I did in my own ghost minnow, which I will do a video on. But the KBS just turns plastic into glass. I mean, it's a clear coat that epoxy just doesn't have. I love epoxy, don't get me wrong, but KBS I like 10 times better, because it turns your paint jobs, especially if you're using candy colors and color shifting type stuff, man, that KBS will just make it jump, and epoxy just doesn't have that kind of finish to it. Not only that, epoxy will yellow over time, so it doesn't take very long for epoxy to yellow either. So that's something you have to think about. I'm waiting for all the old balsa baits that I've had built for me over the years. I'm waiting for us to start turning yellow because they're clear coated epoxy. But KBS is great stuff. And as like I said, all you need to do is just get any kind of a portable sealer machine that's made for canning. I mean, this came with extra lids and everything else in it, but it's just a simple type machine. Like I said, it has a big mouth and it's got a small mouth. Silicone on both of them. I didn't lock it, but there it is. Now it's locked. But all I use is the top part because I prefer the big mason jar to do all my dipping and my baits in. Like I said, cut it on, 20 seconds, maybe 25 if you feel froggy. And that's all you do to seal up KBS. This is the easiest way to do it, guys. It really is. This is the most simplest way to do it, and you can use KBS whenever you want. I can leave this sucker sitting around for a year if I want to. And also remember, KBS has got to be stored indoors. So store it at room temperature, especially if you got a place that's even cooler. Say a pantry or something like that, that might stay a few degrees colder than the house. That's the best way to do this stuff. So, you know, this will last me a long time because I have this right here, and I don't have to worry about it ever drying up or anything. So I hope that helps you guys out. Hope it maybe makes you want to use KBS again for those of you who quit using it, because now there's a way you can store it, and that's the best way to store it, is with a portable sealer. So anyway, until next time, may the Father bless you and keep you in Yeshua's name, and as always, fish on.